Have you ever felt your attention being pulled apart like threads in a storm? One moment you're clear, centered, deeply in the zone, and the next you're scattered, restless, hijacked by noise. In a world of infinite distractions, training the mind has become an act of rebellion. But not just any training, the way of Senshin, the path of cultivating such a refined, razor-sharp mental presence that no chaos, no fear, no temptation can pull you away from your purpose. This video is not a motivational speech. It is a guide to mastering the invisible battlefield of modern life, your focus. Because the truth is, attention is the currency of power, and those who control their attention, they shape their destiny. In the first minute, I want to offer you a dilemma that should haunt you if you're paying attention. If you can't hold your focus, are you truly free? Think about it. If your thoughts can be hijacked by a notification, if your emotions can be manipulated by a headline, if your deepest intentions can be derailed by noise, then who or what is really in control of your life? We talk about freedom, but most of us are slaves. Slaves to distraction, to dopamine, to reaction. But there is a way out. The ancient samurai called it Senshin, the way of the purified mind. It wasn't just about war. It was about clarity. It was about mastery. And most of all, it was about training the mind until nothing could break its focus, not even death itself. So what does that mean for us in this age of noise? It means we must reclaim our minds with the same intensity that warriors once used to reclaim their honor. It means that every moment you spend scattered is a moment you're training yourself to be weak. Every time you check your phone mid-conversation, you are rewiring your brain to be less present. Every time you avoid boredom with stimulation, you are robbing yourself of the very space where insight is born. In Senshin, the first principle is this: you become what you practice. If you practice distraction, you become distracted. If you practice stillness, you become unshakable. Imagine your attention as a blade. Every time you give in to distraction, that blade dulls. Every time you resist it, it sharpens. But here's the catch. Sharpening the blade hurts. It requires friction. It requires boredom. It requires saying no to what feels good so you can say yes to what makes you powerful. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. When was the last time you truly honored your own attention as something sacred? When was the last time you protected it like your life depended on it? Because in a very real way, it does. Nietzsche once said, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." That cuts deep. If you cannot command your own attention, someone else will. Algorithms are built to do exactly that. They are not neutral. They are engineered to exploit your biology, to fracture your focus, to turn your mind into a battlefield and you into a passive participant. But what if, instead of being a victim of this invisible war, you became a warrior within it? That's the core of Senshin. It is not a rejection of the modern world. It is the art of walking through it with such clarity that chaos cannot touch you. You don't run from noise. You transcend it. Let's talk tactics. How do you actually train your mind to be unbreakable? First, you must reclaim the morning. The first 30 minutes of your day are the mind's most impressionable window. If you begin your day with stimulation, scrolling, reacting, consuming, you are teaching your nervous system to crave distraction. But if you begin with silence, reflection, breath, you are teaching it to center itself. In Senshin, the first move of the day is always intentional. Before the world enters, you must enter yourself. That might mean meditation. It might mean journaling. It might mean standing in the cold and breathing until your thoughts settle. But whatever it is, it must be yours, not the world's. Now here's a question that will challenge everything you think you know about focus. What if your lack of focus isn't the problem, but the symptom? What if your inability to concentrate is not a failure of discipline, but a failure of meaning? When you don't know why you're doing something, your mind will seek escape. The brain resists what the soul does not value. So the second principle of Senshin is this: clarity of focus begins with clarity of purpose. If your goals are vague, your mind will be too. But if your vision is sharp, if your why burns like a fire, your attention will flow like a river toward it. So don't just ask, how do I stay focused? Ask, what am I willing to suffer for? Let's go deeper. Most people think focus is about discipline. It's not. Discipline is the result of focus, not the cause. True focus comes from alignment. When your values, your actions, and your identity are aligned, focus becomes effortless. You don't need to force yourself to do the work, because the work is you. But when your actions contradict your values, your mind fragments. You feel resistance. You feel fatigue. You feel lost. So if you want to train your focus, don't just install habits. Integrate identity. Become the kind of person who protects their mental energy like a warrior protects their sword. The kind of person who says, my time is sacred. My attention is sacred. My mind is not for rent. This is not an aesthetic. It's not a productivity hack. It's a spiritual discipline. Senshin teaches that focus is not about doing more. It's about being more present, being more grounded, being more aware. And that awareness transforms everything. When you walk into a room with awareness, you see what others miss. When you listen with awareness, you hear the truth behind the words. When you think with awareness, your thoughts carve through confusion like a blade through fog. That's the power of a trained mind. It doesn't just react, it reigns. To train the mind until nothing can break your focus, you must first understand what your mind is. It is not a tool, it is a blade. And like any blade, it can be dull, rusted, or sharp enough to cut through illusion. But here's the truth few people want to face. A blade is not forged in comfort. It is forged through fire, pressure, and precision. Your distractions, they are the rust. Your excuses, the dull edge. Your pain, that's the fire. Senshin teaches us that pain is not the enemy of focus, it is the source of it. Not because suffering is noble, but because it's unavoidable. The question is not whether you will suffer. The question is, will you suffer consciously? Will you use your pain as a teacher, or will you let it scatter your mind across 1,000 meaningless thoughts? We live in an age where pain is treated like a glitch to be patched, not a signal to be studied. But focus is born from facing discomfort, not fleeing it. When you sit with your pain, whether it's emotional, physical, or existential, you begin to notice something strange. Beneath the surface chaos, there is clarity. The mind, when it stops fighting reality, begins to see reality. That's when the blade begins to emerge. Senshin teaches that every moment of avoidance is a missed opportunity to refine your awareness. When you avoid boredom, you miss the insight that comes just after it. When you avoid fatigue, you miss the strength that awakens when comfort dies. When you avoid fear, you miss the wisdom that only fear can reveal. So ask yourself, what have you been avoiding that is actually the key to your focus?
Now let's talk about purpose. Focus without purpose is like a blade without a target. It cuts, but it does not serve. Purpose gives your focus direction. It transforms attention into action. But most people never clarify their purpose because they confuse it with passion. Passion is fleeting. Purpose is forged. It's not something you find. It's something you decide. In Senshin, purpose is not a career, a mission statement, or a social role. It is a vow to live in alignment with your highest values no matter the cost. That vow becomes your anchor. When distractions come, and they will, you return to that vow. When doubt whispers, you return to that vow. When the world tempts you with speed, noise, and novelty, you return to that vow. That's how you stay focused when everything around you is designed to break you.
But purpose alone is not enough. You must protect your attention like a sacred fire. That means creating boundaries so strong they feel like armor. It means saying no to anything that weakens your clarity, even if it's popular, profitable, or comfortable. In Senshin, attention is not given freely. It is earned by the moment. You guard your environment. You curate your inputs. You design your day around your deepest priorities, not your shallowest urges. And you do this not because you are rigid, but because you are devoted to becoming the kind of person who lives with such intention that even your silence radiates focus. That level of devotion is rare. But it is also magnetic, because the world is starving for presence. Not more noise, not more content, but presence. So here's the final question for this part of our journey. What would your life look like if you protected your attention like a sacred ritual? Imagine waking up and instead of reaching for your phone, you reached for your breath. Instead of reacting to the world's demands, you acted from your own design. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions, you moved in one, deliberate, centered, and clear. That is not a fantasy. It is a practice. And it begins with one decision: to treat your mind not as a slave to the world, but as the master of your fate. That's the promise of Senshin. Not that life will become easy, but that you will become unshakable.
Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of depth. It is not about doing nothing. It is about doing one thing with everything. In a world that profits from your confusion, stillness is an act of revolution. And for us who walk the path of Senshin, stillness is not passive. It is weaponized presence. The warrior trains not to become louder, but to become quieter. Not to master others, but to master himself. In the stillness, he does not escape chaos, he sees through it. He does not eliminate fear, he integrates it. The warrior's stillness is not peace in the absence of war, it is peace in the heart of war. And in that stillness, the mind becomes untouchable. That's what we're after. Not just focus, but invincible clarity.
Let's be honest. Most people never experience this kind of stillness because they're addicted to movement. Not physical movement, mental noise. They can't sit in silence for more than a few seconds without reaching for a screen. Why? Because silence reveals the truth. And the truth is often uncomfortable. But Senshin teaches us that discomfort is not something to be avoided. It is the gateway. You sit in silence not to feel good, but to see clearly, to confront the parts of yourself you've been running from. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. Your mind stops chasing. It stops fighting. It settles. Like a lake after a storm. And in that stillness, you begin to see. You see your fears for what they are. You see your patterns. You see the lies you've told yourself. And most importantly, you see the path forward.
Mental clarity is not the result of consuming more. It's the result of subtracting. You don't need more apps, more routines, more hacks. You need less noise, less input, less fragmentation. Senshin invites us to become minimalists of the mind. That means cutting away anything that doesn't align with your purpose. It means retreating from the chaos of the world, not forever, but long enough to remember who you are. It means choosing solitude over stimulation, silence over noise, depth over distraction. And that's hard, because the world is designed to keep you shallow. It wants you reactive, emotional, easily influenced. Why? Because confused people are profitable. Focused people are dangerous. They see through the game. They stop playing by other people's rules. They build their own systems. So how do we cultivate this warrior's stillness? It begins with ritual, not routine, ritual. A routine is something you do. A ritual is something you become. Wake up, and before the world enters your mind, enter your own. Sit, breathe. Watch your thoughts like clouds. Don't chase them. Don't judge them. Just observe. Then ask yourself one question. What deserves my focus today? Not what's urgent, not what's loud, but what is essential. Write it down. Then build your day around that. Block time like a monk. Protect moments like a samurai. And when distractions come, and they will, return to that question. Ask, does this serve my focus? Or does it steal it? If it steals it, cut it. No apologies. And here's the final truth. Unbreakable focus is not about perfection, it's about returning. You will fall. You will get distracted. You will forget. But each time you remember to return, that is the training. That is the path. That is Senshin. Not a single moment of perfect presence, but a lifetime of returning to presence. Every time you come back, you grow stronger. Every time you resist the pull of distraction, your mind sharpens. Every time you choose stillness over stimulation, your clarity deepens. Until one day you realize nothing outside you can shake you anymore. Not chaos, not fear, not even failure. Because you have mastered the one thing that cannot be taken from you, your focus. And so I leave you with this final question. If you trained your mind every day for the next year, what kind of force would you become? Not just in your work, not just in your habits, but in your being, in your presence, in your ability to walk into any room, any situation, any storm and remain centered. That is the promise of Senshin. That is the path we walk, not because it is easy, but because it calls to something deep within us, something unseen, something unbreakable,